With the employee review process, the most important thing to remember as an organization is that part of our increase in pay each year is based on pay for performance or merit pay. And so there has to be something in place to measure the performance of each of our employees in order to base a merit payment or an increase in pay based on merit to each of those employees. So that's kind of the baseline, so we have to have a system. Our current system has been in place for several years. One of the things that it allows directors or managers to do is change the criteria and change the measures on a yearly basis for the annual review. I don't know if everybody knows that or if all managers really take care of that, but with my own employees that I evaluate, I make sure to update those criteria as time goes on or as people's roles change. That is one way that we can manage the system and make it fresh all the time. In addition, we are also training our managers and department directors and office holders in different ways of evaluating employees each year. And part of it is encouraging managers or those that evaluate to make sure that they are reviewing the criteria more than just once a year and making sure they talk about standards and talk about what that employee wants to accomplish during the year in order to feed into that merit system. So flex schedules are available. Now, there's limits to that. But let me first answer. There are a lot of ancillary benefits that can be achieved through flex schedules, and whether that's it works better for the employee, so there's a higher retention rate for our employees, or it has the ability to reduce traffic, it has the ability to reduce wear and tear on facilities, those types of things. But I'm a big supporter of flex schedules. I think it's more and more necessary as lives become more and more complicated, or just as you age through your career. My personal need for a flex schedule when I was 24 is a lot different than when I'm 35, married and have kids, or when I'm now 51 and my kids are graduated from college. So it varies throughout our careers as well. But flex schedules are managed by department heads and office holders. They're available, and it's up to that elected official or department head to decide where those can be allowed and how they're allowed within their areas. So if that's something that you desire to have, be talking to your manager and be talking to your department head about whether that's available for you or not. Very clearly for some shift work, whether it be public safety, public works, other types of things, there are times when those are not as practical. Well, right now we had a big growth of FTEs at the beginning of this year because the council adopted about 10 positions into the 2019 budget. So it seems like we have a lot of openings this first half of the year, but luckily we're still getting a good amount of applications and filling a lot of those positions. We still have quite a few retirements that have come up, and we're having to fill those positions as well. So we are aggressively looking at different places that we can post jobs, not just the traditional ways that most employers and especially public employers have done. We're also trying to, our personnel department is working on making our job descriptions, our job postings a little bit more exciting. But that's just kind of on the front end of hiring people. What can we do to make it more attractive to work at the county? I think we're constantly working on that, whether it's through our benefits, whether it's through our work environment, whether it's through the culture that we're promoting or the trainings that we do. We're trying to make it a more attractive place to work. And we have a very high retention rate as it is. And so should we work on trying to draw that down all the time, and especially in a time where we're experiencing almost full employment in the county and almost full employment in the state? Yeah, we constantly have to. And so some of the things that you're gonna see, whether these town halls are part of that, and employee engagement, or surveying our employees to see what most matters to them, those are the things that we're doing to try and make sure that people stick around. Well, I'd say the first item is that I agree that state law changes each year. This affects all of our offices, all of our departments. The first thing is that during the budget process, departments and offices should be identifying those things that have changed in state law that are going to require different trainings for our employees or different certifications, so that we can stay current. I mean, we always want our departments and offices to be current in their jobs, current in their training, so that we're offering the proper services to our citizens in all areas, whether that be the recorder's office, the assessor's office, or code enforcement, as an example. Building department is another big one. So the budget process and providing that information to the budget committee, that those things are absolutely necessary, the minimum necessary in order to meet the objectives of the of state law or local ordinance. So those are important. Budgets aren't always cut across the board in training. I think there's a variable between departments each year in the budget. For instance, we've increased budgets for kind of general training across the county. You'll recall we've been sending employees for the past few years to training with the Utah Trust in order to do Arbinger training. We've also, in this past year, been ramping up our training around the topic of unconscious bias and how our biases affect decision making, not only to the public but between employees, how we hire people, all those types of things. And so we've been really working on trying to train our management and then working that down into our employees to identify those things, be able to talk to each other about them, and decide whether those decisions are being affected in a negative way by our biases. I really think there's opportunity for training all the time. If it's necessary and it's identified well in the budget and then budgeted for. But there are also things that we can do to develop employees further than just their job task. Whether they want to move into management in the future and gain skills around that, there's always opportunities like the Park City Leadership group that there's a class every year that we send people to. So I think we can be creative around training and move people through their careers as they want to, and provide those minimums that our employees and our offices need in order to service the citizens. CPR training or any type of training that would help us deal with either health issues or any other types of emergencies that could happen in the county, we should be doing. Yes, that is something we can offer, and we will be working on how we offer it. So be looking for that.